is going on? And a beautiful good morning to you. It looks like we are back here at the Johnny Depp trial because this world can't get enough drama, and especially whenever some celebrities are involved. So, the latest on the trial is that Amber Heard and her attorneys have made a motion to dismiss the case. Kind of seems like it's like, hey, we're waving the white flag. Where's something white? Wave the white flag. It's getting too hard and difficult for us to continue. I mean, in all honesty, dude, Johnny Depp and his attorneys have provided so much evidence, so much detailed evidence that it's hard to ignore. Motion to dismiss is not an easy motion to grant from a court's perspective. So let's dive into this, man. Johnny Depp trial, judge rejects Amber Heard's demands for dismissal. Let's see what their lawyers said, shall we?
Thank you. Your motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I can only assume that Mr. Chu wrote that speech for an audience outside the court because it didn't really address my arguments. I'm going to focus on what our specific arguments are for the motion to strike, Your Honor.
Please.
Mr. Chu spent almost 30 minutes of the court's time talking about the disputed evidence of physical abuse in this case, which Ms. Heard hasn't even put on her case, and I can tell you she's not the abuser, and if the case moves forward, she and her witnesses will put...
Objection, hearsay. Dude, what are you talking about? There's tapes where she said she was hitting Johnny.
I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
There's tapes. She's not the abuser? Okay. Not only is there tapes for Amber Heard physically abusing Johnny, but verbally abusing him too, emotionally abusing him too, but she's not the abuser. Dude, you gotta come with a stronger argument than that if you're moving for dismissal.
On even more evidence of the physical abuse she suffered at the hands of Mr. Depp. But that's not the basis for our motion right now, Your Honor.
Okay, well, what is the basis?
About how Mr. Depp had a sworn denial, and that should count. We read his testimony. He claims he didn't strike her. But again, that's not the basis for our motion. The basis for our motion is the
then why are you bringing it up?
Evidence of non-physical abuse. By his definitions, by his standards, by the standards of his expert, there is no dispute that Mr. Depp abused Amber. And therefore, if he did it even one time, there is no dispute that even under their theory of the case, the implication that they want the jury to draw from the article, which again, I'm not arguing for the purposes of today.
I don't even know what he's trying to say.
I'm not going to argue that.
I'm not even following this.
But even under their standard, the undisputed evidence is that Mr. Depp did commit abuse against Ms. Heard, and therefore that those first two statements were false. That's our argument on that. As to the headline,
I mean, it's weird, dude. Right? In my mind, it makes me want to think that her lawyers could do a better job, but at the same time, sometimes you get a case where it just seems like it's an unwinnable case, right? Like saying she's not the abuser, and then there's a recording of her admitting it.
I fucking was hitting you.
This case sucks for Amber Heard's lawyers, and at the end of the day, I mean, are people going to want to hire them after this? Kind of sucks.
It's funny, Mr. Chu. We played, 2 or 3 hours of an ACLU deposition. Now he says, well, that wasn't our witness. It was his witness, Your Honor. He just spent 10 minutes talking about what Mr. Doherty said. And Mr. Doherty testified that the Washington Post wrote the headline. That is the only evidence, Your Honor. I understand he says, well, Exhibit 1 has her name on it. Exhibit 1 has her name on it.
My man's talking in circles. I don't even know what the hell he's saying.
Who wrote that headline is Mr. Doherty's testimony. It is undisputed. They could have put anyone else on. They could have called Ms. Heard for that.
I mean, I understand what he's saying, but it's I don't understand why he's saying this if he's moving for dismissal.
Your Honor.
You got to come with something stronger.
Now, Ms. Heard will testify she didn't write that headline, so it wouldn't have helped them. But they've had 3 weeks to put on their case, Your Honor. They've controlled the playing field of evidence. There is no dispute that Ms. Heard did not write that headline. No dispute. Simply saying, well, her name is attached to it, that can't overcome the testimony of the ACLU. They call them a co-conspirator. Of course, Mr. Depp chose not to sue them. But the testimony of Terrence Doherty that she didn't write that headline.
Now, it's interesting because let's talk about what you need to achieve having a motion to dismiss granted. Now, it's different from state to state. In layman's terms, there's more that goes into it, but in layman's terms, essentially what you need to have a motion to dismiss granted is you need to specifically state the reasons that the cause of action has no basis in law or in fact, okay? And no basis whatsoever. Like, is there a basis here? Like, that's what I'm saying. He does not seem to be doing a good job of arguing for his request. It's stupid.
That
Obviously,
takes
the
care of
judge is going to
sexual
dismiss
violence
this.
headline, Your Honor.
Bunch
And
of hogwash.
I'm not going to take up any more of the court's time addressing portions of Mr. Chu's argument. That
You've been
don't
taking up the
go
course
to our
time.
motion, unless Your
5
Honor has
minutes
any
of a
specific questions.
bunch
I
of
don't wanna use-
Thank you,
nonsense.
sir. All right. For this motion, I've taken the
I mean,
arguments of counsel,
right,
and
you're
last night
respectful.
I reviewed all of the evidence that has been submitted in this matter. So as to the second and third alleged defamatory statements, the motion to strike at this juncture, I view the evidence in light most favorable to the plaintiff and reasonable inferences from the evidence
Yep,
to the
you
plaintiff.
got to.
And if there is a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror could weigh, then the matter survives a motion to strike. In this matter, there is evidence in the case that a jury could weigh that the statements were made by the defendant, that the statements were about the plaintiff, that the statement was
It's good though that the judge is
that the
like
statement
giving
is
him
false.
that attempt, right?
The defendant made the
She's
statement
hearing him
knowing it to
out.
be false, or the defendant made it so
Validly
recklessly
considering
as to
it.
amount to a willful disregard for the truth. The weight of that evidence is up to the fact finder. So the motion to strike is denied as to statement 2 and 3. The motion to strike as to
Yep.
statement 1, I'm going to take under advisement because if it's not a stipulation, I'm not sure what it is, but there seems to be an agreement that the tweet of Ms. Hurd is part of the plaintiff's evidence, which is not in evidence at this
Battery's
point.
about to die.
So I can't rule on that statement, whether or not it is just a tweet or if it's some sort of republication or something. I don't know because I haven't seen it yet. So as to the motion to strike on statement 1, I'm going to take under advisement because ruling on it now, it would be premature because I just don't have that evidence in the case, okay?
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right. Since it's 12:30, you want to just take lunch?
You know what's crazy, dude, is I saw something that was essentially kind of putting this into perspective where it says an accusation can tear a man down and destroy his career, but a plethora of evidence, not necessarily the same for women. Now, I have a bit of an issue, making blanket statements and generalizations such as that, but it does seem to be a common motif that's in today's day and age. Just food for thought, right? Drop some comments down below. If you guys have any questions about this proceeding, if you guys have any questions legally, if you guys have any comments, concerns, dirty limericks, I don't give a shit. Drop them down below in the comments. And with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. That's a motherfucking fact. Oh, yeah. Love y'all. Peace.